guys? It is the Poke King, and we're taking a look at probably, I can't even say probably, technically the best deck for post-rotation with temporal forces. It's Charizard, Big Daddy. Charizard. You know, I gotta do the facial expression. So we are taking a look at my boy Jamie's Charizard deck profile. Now he's playing it with the Pidgeot EX, which I do like, but I prefer the barrel build. And I'll show you that deck profile. I'll put a link in the comment section down below. It should be out maybe 2 or 3 days after this video drops. So let's take a look and see what Jamie is playing, and anything that needs kind of like a description or explaining, I'll make sure to let you guys know about that. So let's get into the video. So you're gonna see me look away. We have 3 Charizard EXs. Now you don't need 4, you don't need 2. 3 is just the perfect amount. Their card's busted, let's be honest. For 2 energies, it does 180, and that's just base. And then for each prize that your opponent has taken, it does 30 more, and then the ability itself is cracked. So without Path to the Peak being in the format, Charizard is just free to just basically come down and just basically grab whatever it wants from the deck when it comes to fire energy. So it grabs 3 fire energies, and normally you're attaching it to the base, to the active Pokemon, and then you're attaching to the Charizard retreating and doing at least 180. The only really cards I think that can like stop this would be like if Charizard is in the active and you evolve and there's an active Flutter Mane. That's one of the ways that Charizard's ability doesn't go off. And then also like I could think of maybe be like Ting Lu. If you put any damage counters on it from, let's say, like a Halucha, and then Ting Lu is active, its ability stops Charizard from using, you know, its effect because it's on the, you know, there's damage counters on that Pokemon. So we'll next play the 1 Charmeleon. And this is the, oh, let me slide this down so you guys can see. This is the main reason why I decided to go with the Barrel build, because that build plays 2 of these Charmeleons. This is the new one. He obviously got the shiny from Paldean Fates. But this is the new Charmeleon that came out in the set. And what it pretty much does is protects you from Team De-Evolution Machine or item, whatever that card is called again. I have it in the deck. Let's take a look, because I'm always butchering names. That's kind of just what I do. Technical Machine Devolution. You see how bad I butcher that? So pretty much because we play a Manaphy build, not a Jirachi build with this deck, you want to hold on to the Charmeleon and only evolve it when you need to, just because of the fact that you don't want them to de-evolve. So the Flare Veil helps protect you from that. Now, you can play any sort of different Charmanders. Sorry, I had that too high. So we're going to play one of the Ember. You can play one of the 70 HP. I think it may come into play when you're playing against Lost Box decks with Stabilize, and if they're ever using, well, Eckenhorn's no longer in the format, so I got to forget about that. But just in general, if they try to de-evolution and there's only 60 on it, and this Charmeleon, this Charmander lives, so does the Ember one. And then you play 2 of the Charmander with the Heat Tackle. Pretty explanatory. It's the best attacker out of all of them. Does 30 and then 10 to itself. So that's the Charizard build. We play 2 Pidgeot EXs. Make sure those are in focus. Pidgeot EX, you can only use 1 Pidgeot a turn. Searches for any card in the deck. And then you play 2 Pidgeys. Make sure you play the Call for Family. Extremely important. Being able to search out your other basic Pokemon if you open this as a starter. Or if you don't see your Battle VIP Pass or Arven build, or Arvens, then Pidgey is used to, you know, get some Pokemon out on the bench. Supporters, supporting Pokemon is a Rotom V and a Lumineon. Very important. Lumineon turn 2, because this deck always wants to go second. Lumineon searches out Arven, which gets you Battle VIP Pass, which then gets you 4 Seal Stone, so you pretty much fill up a full bench. And then Rotom, if you already have a decent start, you skip on the Lumineon, you take the extra 20 HP from the Rotom, so that way it doesn't get sniped by some cards, and you draw 3 and end your turn like a card D. If you guys know that reference, you know the reference. Attacker, 1 Radiant Charizard, super good, explanatory. Late game, awesome. You can also use this early game, so you can get very aggressive with the Radiant Charizard. A lot of people aren't playing things like Lost City, so you can get really aggressive with the Radiant Charizard and then just Super Rod back in the energies for then other Charizard plays. 1 Manaphy. Like I said, we're going with a Manaphy build versus a Jirachi build, which I personally do like Manaphy a little bit better, just because sometimes you can lose on a bad setup to anything, whether it be like Delphox people are playing, Greninja, Even Gardevoir with like Screamtail, it's still good to have the Manaphy there. All right, now we're going to get into the supporters, and this is very explanatory. The Pokemon, I feel like you have to explain a little bit more, and then maybe the tech trainers and items, but it's very standard. For Arvin, best supporter in the deck, searches out an item and a tool. 3, Iono, very good. Iono's Iono, and shout out to the full arts because they're the best. 3, Getsis. I said Getsis. 3, Boss's Orders. These are the Guesses version. Now you know what I call it. Awesome card, of course, Boss. So you can get really aggressive with the deck, and that's what Charizard is meant to do, which I will say, I definitely was like, Pokemon, you're not being skillful with a deck like this. This deck does take skill because in the mirror match, you have to decide when to attack and when not to. And then also, you know, sometimes Charizard, if you have a bad setup, you kind of have to slow down, don't take prizes. And then once again, you can get real aggressive with bosses and basically trying to stunt your opponent. And then he plays the 1 Professor's Research. Really good when you're doing your turn. So basically if you're going second, you get the setup, and then turn 3, you have a bad hand, you can just ditch everything away. Items are, explanatory. For Ultra Ball, usually is searching out your Charizards, which is extremely good. We have 4 Buddy Puffins. Buddy. Puffins is really good. Once again, this deck gets even better because Battle Pass leaves. Now Battle Pass, yes, can search out the Rotom, search out the Charizard, Radiant Charizard, searches out the Lumineon. But Puffin just allows you a more consistent game, and you don't lose to not hitting your Battle VIP Pass, which I think is awesome in this deck. For the Heart Gold, Soul Silver, Rare Candies, which I'm kind of jealous because these look extremely nice. Look at those guys. You got 4 Nest Ball. So because we don't have the Battle Pass, you can go up to the full 4 Nest Ball with Buddy Puffin. You're always going to have your setup. And then, of course, this searches out usually the Rotom, the Radiant Charizard late game. We have 2 Counter Catchers. Really good, once again, because sometimes in the mirror match with the Charizard, you don't want to take prizes. So if they're getting a little too aggressive, you can basically then beat them up with the Counter Catchers, grab what you want. 2 Super Rod, super important. I almost feel like if you end up, putting one of these in the prizes, it's really hard to try and come back. It's very similar to Lost Box like Giratina V-Star. With that deck, if you prize one of your Super Rods, it makes some of the plays kind of hard, so it's always good to make sure you know you're prizing. 1 Lost Vacuum. He was playing 2, but we decided you got to drop out the second Lost Vacuum. Yes, Heavy Batons is a thing. There's other other tools you want to tech for and protect yourself against, but you just lose to Snorlax Stall if you don't have the switch. So got to have the 1 of switch. I prefer the build of the Babero because you get to play Jet Energy, so it's another switch out, so you don't lose as hard to that matchup. We play 1 Technical Machine Devolution. Really good if there's any Guardies. Really good against Guardy. Really good against, of course, other Charizard decks. And then we'll see how good it is against things like Torterra and Incineroar, other decks like that. 1 Forest Seal Stone. You know the play. Don't prize this. It sucks if you prize it, of course, but Arvin, your first turn going second. It's just so good. It busted. You do play the 1 Ace Specs Maximum Belt. So it allows you to basically get aggressive against Lost Tina because you can just set up a Charizard, boss out something, and then Maximum Belt if you have a hot start, and you can just really keep on putting on the pressure because they really can't knock this out because they're just going to do 280 unless they have their own max belt. So you just keep putting on pressure. Hey, I'm a boss out, boom, boss out, boom. You do a lot. Collapse Stadium gets rid of the Lumineon or the Rotom, or it can get rid of a damaged Charizard, Super Rod those back if it has energy stuck on it. So very versatile stadium. Yes, please don't play Artisan because in this format, it's just not good right now with how many basic Pokemon there are with all these ancient and future box decks. Don't give your opponent free cards. Just play the Nest Ball. It's just versatile. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Fire Energies. And that's the deck, guys. So this was my boy Jamie's deck profile. If you guys have any questions, put it in the comment section down below. This is the tier 0 deck. This is the one that everyone is saying this is going to be the best deck in the format. I personally think it's going to be the best deck. If you're playing a deck that doesn't beat Zard, it's one of those to where, you're going to have to just play them out. Guys, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of the deck. What are some cards you may put in, take out? Let me know if you maybe want to run the Entei, the Delphox, a Jet Energy. Let me know in that comment section down below. It's been the King. Peace.